Welcome to the EarthWorks podcast, where our team will share the jargon of carbon with many of the turf friends we've met over the past 35 years.
Hi, everybody. This is Joel Simmons, and this is the EarthWorks podcast. I have a friend from, a long time ago, Mr. Bob Wren, who is now the golf course superintendent at the Old Collier Golf Club in Naples, Florida. But Bob has quite the story of and history of your career going through this industry, and it's quite fascinating. We just spent 20 minutes going through his resume, and it's this long. I can't show it to you, but it's this long. And you and I met. God, it must have been 1991 at Robert Trench Jones Golf Club in Manassas, Virginia.
Whenever Take-Ball hit us, we thought we met.
Yeah, that was about then. Yeah, it's
Yep.
It's funny. I tell the story, but you came on board just as Glenn Smickley took over, and you started breaking ground at RTJ back in the early 90s, and I wasn't far behind you. And then a massive crew of golf course superintendents who are some of the elites in the industry right now, many of which have been here on the podcast because I tend to call my old friends. And I had never gotten to you, and I finally got a chance to get Bob Wren on the and we have too many stories, many of which we cannot tell in public or at least in polite company. But yeah, you were back there digging dirt in Manassas, Virginia, in the early 90s, which is a lifetime ago, 2 lifetimes ago, isn't it?
Yes, it was amazing. That to see the product that is out there now is absolutely amazing, knowing what was underneath the ground there.
How bad was it?
Well, when Glenn got on site, and then I was hired 3 or 4 months afterwards. I had just graduated from Maryland and walked right in. Clay, shell, and rock everywhere. They had hired, before Glenn got there, they'd hired an irrigation company out of Florida to come put this irrigation system in. So they'd only dealt with sand and coral. And they were up there, and they were putting main lines in the ground 10 to 15 feet deep. We were gluing 12-inch main lines.
Oh my God.
And it was an absolute debacle. And actually Glenn had asked to get those guys thrown off site, but they had already overpaid them way too much that it wouldn't be affordable so we had to keep them on.
Because they weren't used to that soil environment?
And who did? I mean, you saw the soil that was there.
I know it well.
I mean, you've heard the story. I remember watching your one with Glenn. I mean, we were breaking aerifiers the first time we tried to go out with a GA60 in the fairways. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I remember when we started that irrigation, it was such a debacle. We had to hire another irrigation company just to start up the irrigation system. We had so many leaks in that system. And the hard thing for me to imagine is, talking to Scott Furlong, is they just recently put in a new irrigation system. So he was dealing with that mess for 20 years
or more.
And it was horrible, but it was a great experience. I mean, it was funny because we were doing a construction at the same time as Cave Valley was doing construction. And our good friend Tim Haynes was like a go-between, because we had another guy graduated, Tom Tuttle, was the assistant at Caves, and I was at Trent Jones. And at Trent Jones, we were going a mile a minute. We had 50 guys on staff just trying to do whatever we could. And when we built that golf course, the unique thing was Florida Golf's, who was Robert Trent Jones' company, when we built that golf course, their edict or whatever it was to get everything grassed, get the bunkers in, and the bunkers were just regular formed round bunkers, and they put a stub up of drainage in there. That was it. That's what they left us. And then Roger Woolridge came in and painted those bunkers out, which they have now, which they are toned down from what they were originally.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing when Roger came out and painted the bunkers, and I called Glenn on the radio. I'm like, are we really doing this? Is this serious? Because we were expanding these bunkers almost by double with these lace edge design that Roger wanted. But we still had to go in and put all the drainage into the bunkers ourselves with our crew. And that was rock and clay and everything else. So it was a very unique construction because we did a lot of that work in-house. And then Tim would go see our buddy up at Caves Valley and everything, Landscapes Unlimited, that one. And it was a turnkey, do it, Everything was done.
Get
Didn't
it
have to
done,
worry
be
about
done. Yeah.
anything. Maintenance shop was done in time. I mean, we were still working out of trailers in a gravel yard for a long time. So it was a very unique experience, but I worked with Glenn Smickley and Bill Patton at the beginning, and those guys really taught me a passion for golf.
Yeah.
And they actually taught me how to play golf. I had played golf, but those guys really taught me how to play golf and how to appreciate golf courses and how to appreciate architecture. Billy was a big fan of golf course architecture. He had done some Fazio courses before he came there, and he worked in North Carolina up in the Hamptons and High Hamptons up in that area. So, and Billy was he was a history buff. So he was really into that stuff, but they really taught me a respect of the game and the construction and everything else and a love of it. And it really just, I remember I saw my wife and I were cleaning some things out, and she was living away from me, and we used to be pen pals before the internet. We didn't have email. And I was reading a
We're
letter,
aging
and
ourselves.
I was reading a letter to her, and I was like, I really love this job. I really look forward to going to work every day. I really don't want to go home. I just love, and we did. We'd stay there till we'd get there at 6:00 in the morning, and we're there till sunset every day.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a job. It was just what we did,
And look what you built.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I
Yeah.
mean, every time I see it on TV, I always comment. I mean,
Yeah.
Scotty's done a phenomenal. I mean, you look at a golf course like that, they've had 2 superintendents.
Yeah, exactly.
And the proofs in what it is. I mean, it's consistent management and 2 people who are passionate about and love that golf course. And it shows every time you see it on TV. It just looks better and better and better.
Yeah. And, there's been so many people that have come through RTJ. I mean, so many good golf course superintendents that have come through there, many of which we've had here on the podcast.
Yeah.
But,
here's an interesting thing. Did you know Cale Bigelow was an intern when I was there?
I was there, of course. I used to go
Dr.
around,
Cale
pull soil
Bigelow,
samples
who's
with
at
him.
Purdue. It's been an awesome career at Purdue, and he came through there.
Yeah, I used to go around and pull soil samples. He yelled at me one time because I was putting them in a metal bucket that I had just gotten from a trip to Mexico. It was a beer bucket. It was some beer company had put this bucket around, and I just happened to have it in the car. And he was right. I mean, you don't put soil samples into a metal bucket. But yeah, look at his career, and Pete Wentz. I mean, just some of the best guys in the industry. But I've always said this, and I've said it to Glenn when we had him on the podcast. But he built one of the best networks in the industry, and you guys are all still pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a fun day you can pick up a phone and talk to anybody, and they'll always pick up the phone.
Yeah, which is just, I mean, it's truly one of the best things about this industry is that, the friendships that we all built back in the early 90s, are still very, very strong. In fact, I'm going to be spending some time with Mr. Smickley next week. So you told me before we got started, and I didn't know this until you just said this, but you started with Kevin Pryseski at Pine Ridge, which is funny because he's one of my favorite. He's now retired from the industry, but he's been here on the podcast. But one of spent many a night in San Francisco with Kevin. He would always select the restaurant that we would go to because he was very good at that.
Well, it's amazing that I work for Pryseski and Smickley, and I'm not a wino.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's funny you say that because the whole reason Pryseski went out to California wasn't for golf. It was for wine.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why Glenn is still staying in California. But yeah, what a great industry. It's it's been pretty amazing. But yeah, that whole property at RTJ, I can't imagine what you guys went through building that, knowing that soil and man, when I first got out there, it was rock hard, and it took a while. But luckily, Glenn and all of you guys were really open to to kind of some ideas on soil management, and and he did all the right things, and luckily for Scotty, he left Scott with a great great agronomic profile, and what a beautiful property. I mean, it's truly one of my favorite. In fact, I have a picture hanging in my office here, a couple of pictures hanging in my office here. If I didn't have this silly background, you'd be looking at a picture of the President's Cup from when is this? Is the 1994 President's Cup sitting here right behind me.
Yeah, the first one. That was fun.
Yeah. So you let's go through some of your. So you left RTJ and you built Fawn Lake.
Yeah, that was an exercise in futility.
I remember that well too.
It took 4 years to build an ATM and 4 years to build that golf course.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Well, when
all
I
the
got
details.
there, it was a Palmer design, and Palmer had done the initial layout, and the golf course was in the lowlands, and then they were going to do development all around it.
Yeah.
Well, right when I got hired, the Chesapeake Bay Act had just been enacted.
Ah,
And the Chesapeake Bay Act affected every county east of 95. Now, Spotsylvania County, the majority of the county is west of 95, except for a small splinter of the county, which I think is like Fredericksburg City or something. So it affected everything in that county. Knowing well that Fawn Lake's watershed does not go anywhere near the Chesapeake Bay,
right.
does not feed that way. So what had happened was that got enacted. Well, before that had been enacted, they had started clearing. Well, they cleared about 10 acres of wetlands, which was permitted and ready to go. But since this act came in, they stopped, and they had two choices. They could have done like most of the other golf courses in the area that had just said, oh, we'll keep going and we'll plead ignorance at the end and they'll slap a penalty on you and we'll just go with what we got. Or we could be the good guys and turn ourselves in, set an example. And they figured, well, it's a new program. Maybe they'll grant us some leniency. And so they went to the Corps and they admitted their guilt and everything else. And the Corps said, well, you're going to have to mitigate on a 3-to-1 ratio and there's $1 million fine.
Oh, great. Welcome to Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had to mitigate 30 acres of, we had to take 30 acres of property and turn that into wetlands and put
Yeah, I remember you
monitoring
doing
wells
that.
in,
Yeah.
plus pay the fine. So that just put everything way behind. Plus you had to go back to Palmer and redesign the golf course. Plus that took away from potential lots and housing sites that they had already engineered into the whole property for,
Right. And did
for
the cost
everything.
management
And
issues.
cost management issues. And it was a development company, NTS, out of Louisville, Kentucky, and they were doing the best they could. But it got to a point where some funding issues had happened, and it was just kept stringing along till they finally got it done. But it took about 4 years to build it. It was just in and out and in and out. But it was a good construction. I mean, Ranger was a construction company that did it. I mean, probably one of the highlights of my career is when we opened the golf course. Mr. Palmer was coming in and they asked me, go, what do you want to do? I said, I want to carry his bag. And they're like, what? I said, I want to carry his bag. And they said they told Palmer, and Palmer was excited because his dad was a superintendent. He loved it.
Yeah, of course.
So it was me, and we had just, our first golf pro had left, so a second golf pro came in, but he wasn't there long enough that they weren't going to give him the credit to play with Palmer. So it was Palmer playing by himself.
Really? Oh, I didn't
Yes.
know that. I assumed
So
it was
it
a group.
was
I remember this
me,
story.
Palmer, and I forgot his name, his chief co-designer at the time, the ex-Marine. It was us at the behind the ropes.
So you were
And
walking for 4 hours with Arnie.
Walking for 4 hours with Mr. Palmer.
How
And
cool was that?
He is everything and anything everybody's always said about it. He is the guy that you could sit at a bar next to him and had the most open, honest conversation. Nicest guy you ever met. He signed every autograph.
Yeah.
He walked on people's back decks and took pictures with them. A unique story with Mr. Palmer and the way he was is one of my members there was a former Blue Angel pilot, and his team was the first one to give Palmer a jet ride.
Oh, really?
So they got Palmer involved in flying. So he's following us around, and he comes up to me and he goes, Bob, do you think I could say hi to Mr. Palmer? I said, let me talk to him. So I went up to Mr. Palmer, and we're playing a par 5. And I said, this gentleman over here is a former Blue Angel pilot from the troop that gave your first flight. And he, like, his eyes got like this big. He's like, where is he? I said, he's right over here. Give me my driver. So I hand him it's the first time he's ever played this hole. It's a par 5. Takes his driver, smacks it right down the center. Where is he? I said, he's right over here. Bring him in. So bring him in the row. From that point forward, Palmer did nothing but talk to this guy the whole way for the rest of the hole.
So you blew you around. You could have talked to him for a while, but
no, but I didn't care. I mean, it was just amazing because this guy, he had a picture with Palmer and the troop, and that was just, and like at the end, we're at the clubhouse and Palmer's up on the dais, whatever, and he's signing things and he's meeting people, and it was Jack DeWinter was his name, and across comes Jack's picture with Palmer, and he had asked us to have him sign it. And the picture comes right in front of Mr. Palmer. He goes, "Where's Jack?" I said, "He's probably out there." He goes, "Oh, I want to talk to him." I had to bring Jack up and he sat there next to him. I mean, he was such a fan of flying and everything else, but that's just the kind of guy he was. He was
That's
so
cool.
genuine,
Yeah.
and it was just one of those experiences that you never get to have again, because like everybody said, the one thing in life you want to do is you want to shake Arnold Palmer's hand. Well, I got to spend 4 hours with him.
Yeah.
It was pretty unique.
It's funny you say that, because I've been asked that a couple of times, anybody in golf, who would you really wanted to get to know? And it was always Arnie, My mother was a huge fan of Arnie's Army back in the 60s. And, he's from Latrobe, Pennsylvania, which isn't far from where my family is from. And, it's just always been a big fan. I remember your stories of him. I remember you telling me he came into he wasn't really on property very much during the construction, right?
Never. That was the first time I saw him. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was Eric Larson and Vicky Martz were our co-designers. So I saw them all the time. Yeah.
And I think you had told me one time that he came on property and he says, "Hey, this is great. Where are we? What's the name of this course?" But very genuinely, and I say that with great humor, and I don't mean no disrespect, of course. But what a great experience, though. So how long did you survive Fawn Lake? I
was there for 6 years.
So you were only there you were only there 2 years after it opened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Fawn Lake still even there? I mean, it's still there, right?
Fawn Lake's there, and again, another place that David Smith took over from me, and David's still there.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of that's right.
They've had 2 superintendents, David, and we put Zoysia in there.
That's right. I'm
remember,
sorry, David.
40 miles north, we did all bentgrass golf course, and they called us crazy when we did that.
And David is another RTJ disciple.
No. David came from the South. Came from Atlanta.
Oh, I thought that. Okay, then I am completely wrong. See, this is what happens when your head gets old and it's 12 degrees outside.
Catches up on you, Joel.
It's really starting to slow me down. So you went from there over to Chantilly, which was really not far from RTJ. You went back that direction.
No, it was middle of the road, private club. Which was, it was good. I had a great GM I worked for. I think what had happened, and we'll get into this, but I gotten a taste of a little bit of controversy on the board level, and I didn't like where it was going, and it was a lot of politics, and I don't know. I just, again, I saw you gallivanting across the country making millions of dollars. So
millions.
Time for me to jump out. And,
driving a Pathfinder.
I remember the Pathfinder. Yes.
Yeah. 250,000 miles on it.
Yeah. So I did 3 years at Chantilly, and then I made the ultimate bad decision of getting out.
So let's talk about that, because you're one of these guys that has left the industry, as you said earlier, gone to the dark side, and then popped around a little bit, and then found your way back to the industry. And I would be and you were out of the industry for what, about 12, 15 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stayed. What I did was always what you would say industry related.
Yeah.
I was always around the industry. I did. I brokered sod for about 3 years. That was very interesting. We were part of the John Deere One Source program. I was a Northern Territory manager. I was trying to convince John Deere equipment salesmen to go out and sell sod.
And how did that
imagine how those meetings went?
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, I'm sure you were the first person on the agenda every meeting, weren't you?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
You worked for a tree company.
Unique. That was unique. We were pulling, going out and seeing. The unique thing is going out to visit sod farms and qualifying sod farms. And I'm sure you've been on a lot of sod farms. There is a big difference between good and bad sod farms.
Oh yeah.
And
unfortunately, there's a lot of bad ones, and that's not good.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I've told a lot of guys. I said, please do yourself a favor. Go visit the farm you're getting your stuff from all year round.
Yeah.
Go spring, summer, fall, because you got to see it. I was on some sod farms that were solid POA, and they were marketing it as bluegrass. And, the guys telling me as I'm driving around with them, they won't know the difference.
Right.
until
Yeah.
3 years later when all their sod is now POA. I mean,
Right.
it was,
Well, and the sad, I mean, back, I think it's changed a lot. I think there's some really
yes.
good sod farmers now, and
Oh, it's
the guys,
yeah,
the sod farmers are realizing the value of doing good soils management. It used to be just, push it, push it, push it, grow it, cut it, get it out.
yeah,
Now they're realizing that roots actually can play a really good role in the value of the sod that they're selling, and produce a better quality product, and they're selling it for higher prices because it's a better
sure.
quality. So
Yeah.
we've actually done a lot of work over the last 10 or 15 years on some really good sod farms using some carbon-based fertilizers and good soil management techniques, and it's just been
Yeah.
it's been interesting, and we've had a couple of them on the podcast here actually. So
Yep.
it's been good. You worked at a tree company for a while.
Yeah. That's where I got out and went to work at Ace Tree Movers. And I was there for like 6 months and just realized it was not for me.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. Um, they're good guys. Jeff Miskin's a great guy. I don't think he even owns it anymore. I think he's retired down here in Florida somewhere. I've
Oh,
seen it.
good.
We've connected on LinkedIn a couple times. And then from there, we decided to move the family up to Ohio. We had gone through 9/11, and then we gone through the DC sniper.
Wow. Yeah, that's right.
You
I
remember
forgot that
that?
one. Yeah, right down
DC
from where you
sniper
were.
was crazy because I had young kids and in like baseball and things like that. And I remember my wife telling me going to the grocery store, parking in the parking lot, and my younger son, I think, was like 3 or 4 years old at the time. And she's like, okay, we got to run in, but remember, we got to run serpentine. And they were running serpentine because we had no idea where this guy was at. We
Yeah,
had no
hiding in
clue.
his trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, my wife, I'd go out and fill the gas tank for her. I wouldn't let her go to the gas stations. I
Yeah.
would take her car and go fill the gas station for her. I mean, it
And,
was,
and and that was happening right there, right where you guys
yeah,
all
it
were.
was right. It was all over because it was
Yeah.
happening in Woodbridge down south. And I mean,
Yeah.
it was crazy,
Wow.
you know?
I'd forgotten a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Why Ohio? Was that from home for you?
Ohio is home for us. My wife definitely grew up there, and I spent my primary years there till I was about 13 years old, and then
Yeah.
my family ended up moving back there. So my father had gotten ill, and so we decided
I
we
remember
thought it
that.
was a better place to raise the kids. The school systems were good, and we had family there, and we had been away from family for a long time since I graduated college. So it's been about 14, 15 years in DC, and we decided let's go make a go of it in Ohio. And so we went up there, and it was a good opportunity, but it wasn't where we wanted to be. I
Yeah.
mean, it was nice being with family and got the kids to grow up with their cousins and things like that, but it just wasn't a good fit for myself and my wife.
Yeah.
And
What did you
you
say
know,
to me earlier? It's a big difference of snow between a kid and being an adult.
oh yeah, it's great. When you're a kid, the snow is wonderful.
Yeah.
When
Right.
it's adult, it
Exactly.
sucks. It's
Yeah.
just like I don't
Exactly.
want to deal with this anymore. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably why there's so many Northerners down in your neighborhood right now, in
Exactly.
Naples, Florida,
Yeah. And they're
which is
all
kind
here
of
now.
funny. And like I said, I mean, what is it today? Is the 9th of December, and it's 12 degrees this morning. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite interesting. But you jumped around. So you guys then finally decided to head back down. Well, head to Florida. You hadn't been in Florida before
No,
you had
no,
never
we
lived there, but you were
decided.
looking to get out of the cold.
Yeah, we were. So we started putting out resumes and hers hit and it was a good opportunity for us. So we said, let's give it a shot. We talked to the kids and the kids said, yeah, let's do it.
How old were the
And
kids?
believe it or not, my son was a junior, going to be a senior in high school.
Oh God, just
But
horrible
he
timing.
said, I mean, I give the kids credit. They went through a transition from Northern Virginia to Ohio, and my older son's a baseball player. So he looked at it as an opportunity that he could play baseball all year round.
Oh,
And
there you go. Well, that's good.
And then, 6 months after we were there, the kids came to us and said, "Why didn't we do this 5 or 6 years ago?"
Thanks, Dad. You could have done this when I was just getting into junior high school instead of
Yeah.
ruining my life.
So,
I'm speaking from
but
personal experience because
yeah,
I moved
exactly.
from Baltimore to Philly in junior year, halfway through my
Yeah.
junior year almost. That's too funny. But they survived it,
So
obviously.
they've done very well. I mean, it's a blessing, and the kids are great, and
Are they still in
I
the area?
My one son is in the area. Actually, still, we had him move back with us because he was working out of the house and he was living in an apartment with his girlfriend, spending $2,500 a month. I'm like,
Yes.
kid, I got a room.
Yeah.
We like having you here. Come save some money. So he does flight ops for a private jet company,
Oh,
private
that's
flight
good.
service,
Good.
and he loves it. And my older one, Trevor, he's actually assistant baseball coach up at Yale. So he's living up in New Haven.
I did know that. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So
That's
no,
very
they're
cool.
doing cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's my wife did a great job raising those kids.
Yeah. I think EarthWorks actually works at Yale on those fields, which is kind
Yeah.
of funny. So when you got down to Florida, you started working in irrigation. So you started finding those kind of jobs and got to use some of your experience still outside of the actual golf course industry. But
Yeah. I worked at a place called Heron's Glen, and actually my office was in the golf course maintenance facility because there was an 18-hole golf course with this development. Like every development down here in Florida, there's a golf course and
oh,
houses.
I didn't know you worked at Heron's Glen. Who's the
Yeah.
superintendent there now?
I don't know his name.
He was
But
just
I
on
know
our podcast not too long
Yeah,
ago.
he's an EarthWorks guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I worked for TJ Shine at the time,
Yeah.
and it was unique because it is a job I'd never heard of until I moved to Florida, which was irrigation manager for a community. So they had a
Yeah.
community. Every home had a community irrigation, had the irrigation, and we managed it and maintained it, and so it was unique in that perspective. But it kept me, I was in the golf course maintenance building, so I was,
Kind of
basically
in
with
golf.
golf.
Yeah.
So that worked out well. And then I went into commercial landscape for about a year and a half, and I just did not like that at all. I was an irrigation manager for a commercial landscape firm, but it's just it's a money hungry business.
Yeah, it's a whole different world. It's certainly not the
Yes.
golf course world. I mean, it's a good
No.
industry for a lot of people, but it's not the
Sure.
right industry
Sure.
for
And
everybody.
down here, it's a 12-month operation.
Yeah.
I mean, it never stops.
Yeah. So you were telling me, and I hadn't heard this story until you and I were just talking about it. You went to work for an ag company. Tell me about this and the technology you were working on. And this was what, 2015, 2017. So not all that long ago.
No, it was Harpland Irrigation, and they do ag irrigation here in Central Florida on the ridge, which is, citrus and berries. And it's this big sand ridge that runs up the center spine of Florida. And so agriculture irrigation, and we do agriculture irrigation controls, and we're using a product called WiseCon. And it's a solar powered controller with cellular connectivity. And it was nodes you put out in the field, and the nodes were all connected between 900 megahertz radio between all of them. So every node had its own solar panel and antenna. And then there was telemetry that you could connect to them, which was you could, soil probes, weather stations, things like that. But everything was operated by a phone or your computer. And the amazing thing is, and I didn't realize this, I'd never seen diesel irrigation systems and how prevalent they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working on
In
one store, one of the largest strawberry farms in Central Florida, Wish Farms. And we were 8 to 10 diesel motors that we were starting, maintaining, operating fertigation systems with it, monitoring fertigation systems, monitoring flow, and also monitoring soil moisture at the same time. So you could sit there and watch your irrigation, and then you could see the graphs, and you can watch your graphs with the soil probes. We're using Centec in-ground probes, drill and drops. And it was amazing technology. I mean, it's just, and it's gotten even better now. I mean, they're constantly improving on it. But for that, it was really unique for me to see that and to be able to, do what we did. And they're doing it, and they're huge. They do a lot of work in almonds out in California and up in the Oregon Valley, and apples up in Michigan and Wisconsin and things like that.
Yep.
So again, we did some almond and some other stuff in Georgia, and it's just very unique technology. And being an ag, you can see where golf gets a lot of it starts in ag. And ag does basically, they're the test dummies for a lot of this stuff because
their business, they got to make things work, right?
Their business. And the strawberry is unique because, I mean, we were slugging irrigation and we were slugging fertilizer 500 gallons at a time within like 10 minutes. And we're using 2-inch trash pumps, starting them up, monitoring them, and slugging fertilizer into these fields.
Wow.
While they're throwing out 35 to 4,000 gallons a minute of water. And, we'd start these, and everything is done by phone,
Yeah.
and it's all with the telemetry and everything else. And it's
this
just
was
amazing.
brand new for them at that time. This was all new technology for
Yes,
that
because before
sector.
they would start the pumps themselves, they monitor
Right.
them, and then they'd start up these trash pumps, and then they feed the fertigation, and then they'd have to, you're switching fields and the valves in the fields and everything else, and they were doing a lot of this manually, and it's, it's interesting to see where it's gone to, and I think where it's going to, in our industry.
Now, was this technology you were working with back in 2015 before that same technology kind of got to the golf side, or were they kind of side by side? I mean, that was about the time all that was coming up.
Yeah, I think it's more side by side. The interesting thing is they're doing it with solar power.
Oh,
And
okay.
12
Yeah,
volt
there you go.
technology.
Yeah, yeah.
And that kind of limits you because you can only send a signal so far with 12 volt technology.
Yeah.
So that's what limits you in golf. You really can't, because I mean, if you're trying to active, but with the 2-wire systems, maybe there could be a way to adapt it and things like that. But that was the unique thing, because you're in such remote areas that you can't rely on power out there.
Right. And
most of these farms are at the end of the power grid. So they were the
Yeah.
first ones to get phase outs, brownouts, whatever. So that's the unique thing about the technology, is that we weren't relying on the power grid.
How many acres are you talking about on those projects?
That strawberry farm was 700 acres. They had 500 under conventional, 200 organic. I think they're now up to 1,000 acres.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at, orange. There's orange groves out there that are thousands of acres.
Thousands. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's some of those.
Yeah.
And they're running that same technology. And you imagine what it would have been like before, they had that level of technology. Before they could control it with a phone or something else, they'd have to run, all those acres and get everything working.
And you're trusting. And the unique things with the soil probes is you can see that your irrigation is functioning.
Yeah.
Before soil probes, they didn't know. They'd have to go out and you're driving up and down rows of trees to make sure things are doing what they're supposed to do.
So
that's where I think with golf, I think that soil moisture technology is, I think, the next step. I mean, with this Turf Rad is doing a great job with that, but I think the below soil technology, if they could figure a way to do the telemetry of being able to put soil probes in the ground without having to hook wires to them more consistently, I think that would be a big advantage. I mean, I know they're doing some now with some Bluetooth things, but it's difficult to manage. And, with aerification and cultivation that we do in golf, it's very difficult to do something like that.
Yeah, it's that whole technology, and we've had Dave Wilbur on a couple of times talking about Turf Rad, and that's fascinating. But the sensors, there's so many people working on that too. I mean, the technology that has much of it has come from ag into the golf industry is really fascinating. I mean, I've said this before, but I think you're going to see in the next 5 years, you'll probably be hiring technology managers just to manage all this crap. It's like, and it's a little bit beyond my Neanderthal.
Well, I mean, you look at what AI is doing, and I can just see it. We're going to be AI, where you're going to take Dave Wilbur's technology and then Toro Link's technology. You're going to put all this. You're going to be able to put all this stuff together with autonomous mowing and with other things. It's quick story. Back in '98, was it '98? Yeah. 98. I was working at Woodmont Country Club as an intern, and we went to the turf show, the Maryland Turf Show, as interns. And we came back in, and Mike Larson was our superintendent there. Great guy.
It's probably 88, wasn't it?
88. Yeah, 88.
Yes.
That's
I was going to say that was before. Long before.
Really long time ago. That's why I had hair and everything.
You were 5 at the time, I think, right?
Yeah. So Mike called us in the office, and he goes, we went to the show, and he wanted to get input from all the guys, because there's like 4 of us, Weaver and a whole bunch of other guys that were there. And we go around the room, and he comes to me and goes, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, Mike, I think computers are the next step in golf course management." And he blew a gasket. He's like, "There's no way a computer's going to be doing my job." And I'm like, "No, it's not going to be doing our job, but it's I think that's where the industry is going."
Yeah.
And look at us now.
Yeah.
There's not anything we don't do without a computer right now. Budgeting,
Yeah.
irrigation.
Well, I mean, in 88, we didn't have cell phones that work like these.
No,
We didn't, I don't even know if we had cell phones at all in
we
88.
didn't have cell phones.
No, but now they run the whole,
yeah.
everything is managed by your cell phone.
Yeah. I mean, I go out now and I operate my irrigation system with the cell phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and imagine what's going to happen, in another 40 years from now, or even
40
20
years.
years.
5 years from now.
5 years from now, yeah, exactly. When I'm sitting on a beach somewhere or whatever I'm doing, and just wondering what the hell you guys are doing, it's going to, the technology. I mean, it's fascinating to me. I'm really fascinated. We try to get as many of these technological advancements here on the podcast. Like I said, I've had Dave Wilbur on a number of times, and the guys from Syngenta talking about their probes and just all sorts of cool things. But
the autonomous mowing, mowing thing is really, I mean, it's amazing. And I've had people at other clubs, and I live at a country club, but I don't belong there. But they're like, "Oh, the autonomous mower is going to save us money." I said, "Well, I wouldn't look at it as a money savings. I'd look at it as using your money in other resources."
Right, it's shifting your monies.
Shifting your money.
Yeah,
invest in the mowers, let them go mow roughs, and let those guys do more things. You're going to get a better product for it.
And I think what the autonomous mowers are doing is really addressing the labor shortages that we're going to be facing. And, I mean, it's allowing us to work with less, now you don't need, another crew of guys just out there mowing every day. Although I don't know what's going to happen to the old retired superintendents that want to just get on a triplex and mow all the time.
Exactly.
Which is a very real story in our industry as well. I think there's a great home for old retired superintendents that want to have golf privileges and just, I mean, you're part of that story. I mean, you left for 15 years and finally got your way back into the seat that you're sitting in now. So how did that all come about? So you're doing this stuff in ag, and finally you woke up one morning and realized I'm in the wrong place. I want to be back on the golf course.
Pretty much. I mean, you start driving around, start thinking about things, and then I look at my kids, and my kids are, they tell you, live your dream or follow your passion. Well, my son always wanted to be a college baseball coach, and he's doing that. And my other son wanted to be a pilot, but he also involved in the air industry, and they're doing that. And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm preaching this to them. And I started realizing that I've always been associated with golf. I've always stayed close to it. I really do miss it.
Yeah,
I really do. So just luck. Pure luck. I pull up GCSA website. Now the job postings are free. Back 10 years ago, you had to pay for the job postings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd always go to TurfNet and look at that, but I get on there and there's a job posting and I said, if I wanted to come back, I wanted to come back someplace special. I mean, I visited Glenn Smickley, and I've been, seeing what, what Scotty and these things do. And I knew I wanted to go to someplace that I really didn't have to pull my hair out to grow grass. Okay. Right. I didn't have much to pull out as it was, but I just wanted to go someplace that was unique. And I saw the posting for this, and I looked it up, and I said, well, this is pretty interesting. And plus, they were offering a pretty good salary, about what I was making when I was a superintendent.
Hadn't changed.
So, I mean, I had looked in previous years, I had stuck my toes in the water and reached out to a few superintendents, but it's really funny, Joel. And you look at it, there's a lot of guys with somebody like my age and with my experience. Some guys may be a little hesitant to bring somebody like myself on.
I was going to ask you about that, but yeah, go ahead.
But then when I sat down with Todd, and we had a really good conversation, and Todd's experience was he was here with Tim Hires when this place was built, went out, did 2 golf courses, and then when Tim decided to leave here, they brought Todd back. So basically, here's a golf course that's been under 2 superintendents, pretty much the same management scheme, and you've been here, Joel. It's a world-class facility.
It's a beautiful property. Beautiful.
But I mean, besides that, just the maintenance facility and everything else that we have here, this was part of that thing that when Tim Hires was going around doing his speaking engagements with GCSA, he was setting the example for what the future of golf course maintenance facilities should look at. And that's what we have here. I mean,
Using the
I'm
old
sitting
Collier
here-
as the experience.
I'm sitting here in a big conference room that's in our maintenance facility,
Yeah.
and we have offices for everybody here. We've got, I mean, it was done right.
Yeah.
And, yes, I'm at one of those 1% clubs.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to meet Todd. We had a good conversation.
Todd
We drove
Drafen.
around the golf course, and Todd said, "Yeah, come on board. Love to have you." And it's been a great experience. We work really well together. It's still Todd's show.
Yeah.
Todd is director of agronomy. I'm a golf course superintendent. We have an assistant that works with us, but we have we've got 25 full-time staff. I think we've had, since I've been here, 3 guys leave.
Wow, that's impressive. And how long have you been there now?
I've been here 4 years now.
Okay.
So, but we treat people right. We pay them well. We give them uniforms. They have the best equipment out there. We've got great mechanics. We're on a 3-year Toro lease, so we're constantly getting new equipment in. We've got GPS sprayers. We've got, a phenomenal irrigation system, 2,500 gallons a minute that, we don't have any leaks or anything in, and it just works. And, we've been through some challenges since I've been here. I mean, like 4 months after I was here, we got hit with Ian.
Yeah. I was going to say, you've been flooded once or twice, haven't you?
Yes.
I think I was there not long after one of the floods. I think you were still showing me some of the damage.
Yeah, it was the year after the flood that you came in.
Yeah.
We had, and the unique thing here is that you've seen our soil reports and our water samples here. I mean, we got a TDS here of 6,200.
Yeah.
On a constant basis. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this, but Old Collier was the first all pass ballam golf course in the United States.
There you go.
So, and actually,
it's not anymore. There's many of them.
Yeah, there are many of them. But platinum, which is the standard now for pass ballam, platinum's original coating at the University of Georgia was OC, whatever the numbers were. It was found on this property.
Oh, they actually found it there. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's
hybridized here through,
So they found a salt-tolerant grass because you guys get flooded so often.
It was salt-tolerant when they put it in. They had to because the water was so bad here. That was the only issue. That's the only way they could do grass here.
So how do you manage that water? I mean, it's got to be a constant battle between, dealing with that salt level.
Gypsum, calcium, potassium. I mean, constant.
Humic acids.
I mean, we don't really treat the water itself. We do some acid injections and do some other things.
But that doesn't really help the sodium. It helps the bicarbonate.
It doesn't help the sodium. It's just trying to get this stuff. And the thing is, when I got here, all the freshwater, we had freshwater ponds on the property, which were a TDS of 2,500.
That's fresh. Water. Yeah.
So we would use those with a temporary pump system, and we'd flush greens, into the season. Once our levels got too much, we'd go out and flush with that water. Well, when Ian came in, Ian compromised every bit of that water.
Oh boy. So it's never came back?
It's never come back. I mean, we're still testing, and we're still at between 3,000 and 6,000, depending on where we're at. And then if we turn on our wells come out of the ground at like 6,500.
Wow, even that. So you don't really have potable water at all. I mean,
we count, we hope for a rainy season. We had a decent amount of rain, but then this last month we were probably 2 days from turning our wells on when we got an inch of rain the other night.
Whew. Just because of sodium.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
talk about Ian. How bad was Ian? I mean, you really got nailed by that one. I mean, so Ian hit that whole Fort Myers, Naples neighborhood and really destroyed.
Let me. I don't know if you can. I'm going to show this to you, and I don't know if it'll show up,
but most people are listening. But that's okay. Oh, look at that. That's if you do have an opportunity, go turn the YouTube channel on because that picture is amazing.
So this was during Ian. There's some condos across from us that look over the golf course. So this was September 28th, 2022, and that's October 7th of 2022.
Hold that up a little higher. Hold it up a little higher. There you go. Okay. Yeah. I remember you.
So
You have that hanging in that conference room, right?
yes,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
we will never forget.
No, I bet you'll never forget. So what was it like that day? I mean, you knew it was coming, and were you guys on property? I mean, what was the
No,
operation?
my wife, I wanted to stay. My wife and son was living with me at the same time, and my son was out of town, and they all got on the phone with me, and they begged, and we ended up leaving. We got out.
Leaving the
Thank God
area?
we did, because where I live, my neighborhood got 8 to 10 feet of storm surge come through there.
Oh God.
So I have neighbors. My house sits up high enough where it got into my garage, but it never made it up to the living level. It was like 4 inches before getting into my living level because my
Yeah,
garage
yeah,
is lower. My wife's car was in the driveway. We lost that. I got neighbors that had 4 to 6 feet of water in their houses.
yeah.
Here, the golf course took the brunt of it. In the maintenance facility here, we got about 1 inch to 2 inches of water throughout. We didn't lose any equipment. We didn't lose. I have where I live at that golf course, they lost every bit of their equipment,
Oh wow.
just flooded.
Yeah,
And like a lot of golf courses
yeah.
around
A
here
lot of
did.
them did back. Yep.
Yeah. We were fortunate enough because I think that water was more, it wasn't a surge, it was more the river backing up through our drain lines.
Oh,
Because when you build something here in Florida, part of the requirements is you got to keep everything on property and then
right.
slowly and then mitigate it before it drains off property.
Yeah.
So we
Before. Yeah.
keep everything on property, but we think a lot of that was just the storm water and everything back because we got a river, a tributary, and the Gulf is, as a crow flies, half a mile from here. A lot of that was backup coming into the course. So we really didn't get surge that came through. So we had a lot of debris. I rebuilt, we rebuilt every irrigation controller on the golf course because they all got flooded with salt water.
Yeah. And
Um,
destroyed. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, we kept the cabinets, but we had to redo all the
Of
electronics
course.
and try to do whatever we could. We're still suffering that. I mean, once you get salt water in there, it just keeps the corrosion's always there.
Yeah.
Um, and the golf course, I mean, like I said, we didn't have any extensive debris, didn't have a lot of tree damage, because we've been through so many hurricanes before that I think most of the trees around here are like, okay, been through this, been there, done that, we're fine.
Yeah. We know how to
And it's
survive a
amazing.
hurricane.
Yeah. Now we have lost probably 100 to maybe 200 pine trees since then.
Yeah.
Because of the salt inundation in the soils. But
Is that
we
continuing?
think
Does that continue the tree damage, or are you pretty much past
we're
that all
still
now?
seeing the effects of it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the pine trees, we got pine beetles, but we also have, you start to see, I think we've probably taken care of most of the stuff that's because of the salts,
Yeah.
but it's a
Yeah.
never ending issue here.
Did you replace any of them, or you just let
No,
them?
we have so much vegetation here.
Right. Yeah. I didn't think you had.
No.
You don't have any regulations saying that if you lose trees, you have to replace them in the county or in the state or anything.
No, and
Good.
not that I know of. We haven't had to. I mean, we don't do any. I mean, like I said, everything here is maintained on site.
Right.
We are a
Was the shop damaged? Was the drywall damaged anywhere? I mean, did you
well.
have?
The thing was, we had like 1 to 2 inches in here, and of course, the insurance companies came in and said, "No, you've got to." And granted, we had to strip everything up about 4 feet.
Okay, so you
And
did
then
have to go through that.
and redo all the flooring, and things like that. But it was habitable. It wasn't like we were without.
Right. How long was the water there? How long did it stay on the property?
Water didn't stay long. It was about maybe 6-8 hours.
Oh, really?
That's what I was saying.
Was that
That's what
quick?
I'm saying. It was more like the drain lines backed up. And then when the water went out, it kind of went out with it.
Right.
So yeah, we had standing water in places we normally didn't have standing water, but we get that after a heavy rain or whatever. But I mean, the amazing thing about this golf course when it was built and designed, and it's a Fazio, and we've got catch basins 150 feet everywhere. And this place drains better than any place I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I would assume
So
that's because of where you are and knowing that there's going to be these kind of storms.
yeah, and I think it was just designed very well. I mean, it was created. This is not fairly natural topography. They took this and created this.
Right.
And it's amazing when I start to look at some of the pictures of before and after where we did a lot of extensive plantings, and we've got a lot of palmettos on site that we're trying to thin out and take out because they just take over everything. But
And they don't die in the salt, do they? The pines die, but they survive everything. The ones you want to die, they make it all the way through. Yeah.
I mean, the environment here in Florida is unique to anything I've seen anywhere else in the country. And I've told people that. I mean, when I did a 2-wire system at Heron's Glen, they were bringing in super decoders from Denmark, and they were getting eaten alive within 6 to 8 months. And I was telling these guys, I said, you got to coat these. You got to put some kind of, and then they're like, well, we've never had this issue before. I said, well, you've
never been in Florida before.
You never tested in Florida where we have humidity pretty much 360 days a year.
And salt all the time.
Yeah. And rain and everything else, and animals and critters. And I mean, so no, it was unique, but we came back from that really well. The golf course is it's unbelievable. It really is. Paspalum is a very unique grass.
Yeah.
We've
had John Riley on the podcast. Yeah.
Pardon?
We've had John Riley on the podcast. That's
and John's place is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, John, I've been up there a couple of times, and he's such a great personality, and he's such a great guy. Paspalum's a really unique turf.
So how many Paspalum courses are there now in Florida? Have any idea? I mean, I know there's a ton. I mean, it's there's
a ton. There's a lot of guys that they're doing the rebuilds. They're keeping the Bermuda greens, but they're doing Paspalum everywhere else.
Yeah, everywhere, pretty much.
So, everywhere else. I mean, we want to go to Bermuda greens, and we were looking to put an RO system in here.
Yeah.
But our spoilage water that you create when you make an RO, which is about 20 to 30%. So if you're making 100,000 gallons of water, you're going to waste about 20 to 30,000 gallons that you have to do something with.
You have to use,
or dispose of somewhat.
Yeah.
We had thought we were going to put some kind of like septic system through our driving range and let it filter through there, and then we would be fine. Well, once they started testing our water and everything else, they find out that we have radium, low levels of radium.
Really? I didn't hear this story.
Like that brick wall behind you, Joel, is emitting radon.
Yes, so it is. Luckily, it's fake, but but it's probably that's why my hair's glowing, I think.
So it got to a point where they weren't going to let us dispose of this water because we are very close to a watershed.
Yeah, exactly. Where you are.
And they're worried about that. So, I mean, on the East Coast, they do it all the time because you got a very active surf there and very active water system that it'll replenish it. We don't have that here. So we basically could not do an RO system.
Wow.
Unless we wanted to inject it 3,500 to 4,000 feet into the ground, which would have cost millions of dollars to do that.
They would have allowed you to do that, but not.
Oh, yeah. I mean, actually, Cape Coral, which is a city just outside of Fort Myers, they're doing that right now. They're putting an injection well in for their RO system.
Wow.
In order to be able to get rid of that water. So we are going to rebuild greens next year. We're closing May 1. We're rebuilding all our greens. We're going back to platinum. We're going to be Paspalum again. We have to rebuild these greens. Were built out of the gravel layer was a limestone.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And now when you dig down and pull it out, it is now paste.
Yeah, I was going to say that's got to be fun to play with. How old is that golf course? I try to find out on your website.
Next year is going to be our 25-year anniversary.
25 years. And where did the name come from? Do you know?
Well, the Colliers, if we're in Collier County.
Oh, okay.
So the Colliers had been here for a year. This
is a family.
Their farm.
Yeah. So the county okay. So it is have history there.
The first course they built was across the street. That was Collier's Reserve, and Tim Hires was there. And then they wanted to build a private club for their friends.
Gotcha.
So it's just a golf club, 250 members, and that's just what they wanted. Private exclusive club for their friends. So now it is privately owned. David Hoffman of Hoffman Enterprises now owns it. But we're all the same membership, same management team that was there before. It was about 3-4 years ago.
And they're golfers, I assume.
They're somewhat. I mean, it's a unique thing. We don't have that. I don't think we have a predominance of low handicap golfers here.
Right.
And we don't have celebrities here.
Oh, good.
The guys that are members here have made their wealth and they've made their, they built businesses and everything else. And, it's in Naples, Naples, you've heard of Naples and
I've
you've been
known
here.
Naples well.
I mean, Bentley convertibles are like Camry convertibles up
Yeah,
north
yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's not a low income community at
no,
all. So, yeah,
no.
it's kind of great.
And we're, well, like I said, we're one of those special clubs that, they're not looking for notoriety.
Right. Yeah, no, it's
You don't
it's
hear,
very well kept. I mean, it's like you said, it's private. People
yeah.
know of it, but it's not, you guys have done a really, really nice job. How long did it take you to remediate the sodium from Ian? I mean, how long was that? I
We
mean, I
still
remember when
haven't
we
we're still, the thing is, we remediate it, but we're still putting sodium back into the
Right,
soil.
yeah,
So,
exactly. So I mean,
I
but you
mean,
had a huge, I mean, I remember when I came in not long after Ian was there and trying to find any tricks that we could help to, kind of flush some of this stuff out.
yeah. I mean,
But
and it was just, Mother Nature. Fortunately, I think like 2 or 3 weeks after Ian, we got a huge rain, like a 2 or 3 inch rain,
yeah, well, that had to have helped.
and that helped a lot.
I bet.
But the crazy thing is the next year, that next winter coming out of there was a dry season for us.
That didn't help.
And that didn't help at all because, our sodium levels were going through the roof. Okay, let's try flushing with this pond water that we have. That's only 4,500 TDS, not 7,000 TDS. So excessive amounts of gypsum, calcium, potassium, acids. I mean,
Humate,
everything we
all that
could. I
stuff.
mean,
Yeah.
and we do a lot of venting here. We'll do deep
Good.
needle tining once a month, and then in between there, we'll take the 648s with the short needle tines. We're trying to keep everything open as much as we can and keep it playable. And just it's constant monitoring, constant monitoring.
Yeah.
Um,
How are you
a lot of
monitoring? Are you doing this by hand? You got probes? I mean, how do you
We're
monitor?
doing probes. You do a lot of soil testing, like
Yeah.
anybody else does. And Todd's been here long enough, and and he's very. I mean, he's only really maintained past Fallon,
Right.
so he's got a really good handle on it. And just trying to manage the moisture as best we can.
Yeah.
And that's where all golf course manager comes out to moisture management. The fortunate thing for us is we don't hold a lot of moisture here because we drain so well.
Yeah, you're all sand. Yeah,
And
which is
it's
good.
going to be better. The greens, they don't drain as like they used to, but next year we're going with a granite base, and then with the mix on top, and we'll get better at it. So
Good. And we'll get some amendments in there that'll actually give you some growing conditions.
yes,
What's
exactly.
I mean, if you this is a hypothetical question, but if you were not past Palm, do you think you'd be able to survive as easily? If you were,
No,
yeah, I mean that's all, especially from that, I mean if Ian broke everything and it's never going to go back.
I don't know how. I don't know what you'd put here. I don't know if you'd go with the zoysia. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know
this
either.
property. This property was created, and the way they did this grass selection was based on everything here at this property.
Gotcha.
That's what
Let,
it was based on.
what's the playing condition like on that past Palom? I mean, what are the golfers saying about putting on past Palom? Do they like it?
They're used to it.
Yeah.
The problem is they go and play these Tiff Eagle golf courses all
Right.
around us, and they
Or
come
go up
back
east
here.
and play bent grass. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys come from there.
Yeah. Up north, I
The
meant.
playing
Yeah.
conditions, tees, fairways, roughs, and greens exceptionally. I mean, we try to maintain about 11 on the stick meter as much as we can. It gets a little sticky at times. John Riley's doing some really unique stuff, taking some mowing heights down and doing
Yeah.
some neat stuff. And we don't push it too hard here because we really don't have to.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Our
Or want
members are
to for
very,
them. Yeah.
if we can keep them at 11 and consistent, it's great, but as far as playing condition, I mean, there's not much better playing surface than
No.
good past Palm.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, and again, being on your property, it is a stunning, stunning property.
Yeah,
I give you
the color
accolades,
is
my
something
friend.
that's different. Yeah.
Yeah. obviously Todd knows what he's doing.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And I'm just along for the ride.
And you're just so let me end by asking you this. I mean, you broached this, and I met Todd when I was down there with you, and he seems like a genuinely great guy. But that had to be a little bit. I can only imagine you guys talk. But here you are, having been a golf course superintendent all around the countryside, and then he brings you in. I mean, that's got to be. I mean, was there any kind of question in his mind? I mean, are you going to take his job? Kind of a thought in his head?
I didn't come here to do that.
Of course not.
I really didn't. I was
Yeah,
I was
you and
set
I
on
know
just
that, but did he know that?
yeah, I think so. I mean, and the thing is, here's a unique thing, and I learned this from Glenn because we had always, if a superintendent had lost their job,
Yeah,
Glenn was the first one to call them and offer them something.
yeah,
We offered him a home.
yeah.
Come out here, whatever. And when I went to Fawn Lake, I did the same thing. I remember Mark Stoddard is a name that he was at TPC Avenel. Unfortunately, things didn't work out well there. I called Mark, lived close to the golf course. I called Mark. Mark was a huge help, but I didn't hire Mark because I thought he was going to take my job.
Right. No,
I hired
that's
Mark.
yeah,
And the thing is, I think, you got to be confident enough to know that you're going to hire somebody. They're not going to come in and take your job. But, I came in with the understanding of Todd, listen, I don't know how to grow this grass here. I don't know this. I want to learn.
teach me.
And I'm just here because I want to be in the golf course industry and
Yeah.
whatever. And like he said, he goes, you can stay here as long as you want and do whatever you want. Or if you want to help move on, I'll be more than happy to help you move on. But to be honest with you, I don't see myself going anywhere. I hope not, knock on wood. But the unique thing that I had to learn here and being in this area is it's a 12-month season.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You're
And
not in New Jersey, you're not in Virginia anymore, or
No.
Ohio.
I mean, I miss coming in on snow days and drinking coffee and
Having right,
We'll
coming in at
sit with
9
the crew
o'clock
and-
and leaving
Yeah.
at 1.
I mean, we don't tear apart our equipment here every 6
Yeah,
months.
you're
We
not-
just
yeah.
use it, and then
Throw it away.
trade it in.
Wow.
So it's a unique environment, but I think I've adapted well, and I think like I said, I'm very blessed to be in the situation I am with somebody like Todd and everybody here at the club, the GM, everybody from down. They've been very supportive, and it's a good place to come to work every day, and we enjoy what we do, and I think we
Good.
put out a good product, and it's much easier when you have got a good crew, you got good equipment, and you got a budget. It's a lot easier that way.
And you're back in the industry.
Yes, I am.
Bob, it's been a pleasure. I think I've known you most of my career now. It's kind of frightening. We were both 5 years old when we met, I think. But yeah, it's closer to the end than it is to the beginning now. But man, what a ride we've had, huh?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So
Been a real pleasure. And folks, if you haven't watched and listened to the podcast, please subscribe so we can show you who we're going to have on next week, like Mr. Bob Wren from the old Collier company. You know what Collier actually means? It's the term Collier is a coal miner, which is kind of weird for Florida, but maybe it's just a different range. But anyway, Bob, thank you so much. I will see you
Happy
in
holidays.
Orlando in February, I hope.
Yep.
You'll
I
just
will
be
see
driving
you.
up.
Yes. Yep.
Perfect.
Got to let me know when's the cocktail party. I want to come.
It's
for that.
always at 3 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. So be there and
I sure
invite your
will.
friends because we get a small crowd. If we can wiggle your way into the bar, they'll have a couple of beers. So I
I'll
look
find my
forward to
way
seeing
there.
you, bud. Thank you so much.
Happy holidays. Thank you.